Hello and welcome to another installment of the Techno Tigers 8617 YouTube programming tutorial series. My name is Hudson, and today we will be covering primitive variables. So, what is a variable? A variable is a value that can change depending upon the value given to it from the program. Variables are very useful throughout programming, and quite frankly, I'm not sure you can get too much done without them. So let's look at the two types of variables. We have primitive variables and reference variables. First, primitive variables are variables that hold the information within themselves. So that means that they have a fixed memory amount. Now there are 8 different kinds of primitive variables. We will go over all 8 of them. However, not all of them will be quite as useful as some of the other ones. Specifically, int, boolean, char, and float and or double will be the variables that you use the most. Now on the right we have reference variables, and we'll go over these in a later tutorial, but definitely string is the most commonly used one. Now in the realm of FTC, it will be probably more likely that you stick to int and maybe some more advanced reference variable types like array lists and stuff. It is worth noting that reference variables, as you can see on the left, are not really variables, but instead classes, which is a technical Java term. Java is a little weird. It's called an object-oriented programming language, and we'll get that into future tutorials. What that means is that they do behave pretty differently from primitive variables. They have a lot of special rules, but we'll get to that later. For now, just know that what you see in this tutorial mainly applies to primitive variables. So let's look at integers. So we have 4 integer types: byte, short, int, and long. You can see that byte and short are rarely used, and that's because, well, no one really likes to have small variables. It just creates more places where your program can fail than help. It's really only useful for large big data sets where you want to have a list of very small values. Now, we have integer values, which are normal sized integers. And what we are talking about by normal size is from negative 2 billion to 2 billion. And they're the most frequently used in programming. You will also use these very frequently in the realm of FTC. Long ints are also relatively frequently used, and they go from 9 quintillion to 9 quintillion, negative 9 quintillion to 9 quintillion. And all long values must have an L at the end. So, for example, 2421L. Okay, and we're going to go into how to set these variables later in the tutorial. But what you need to know is that these store integers, not decimals. And you can see that the end data type is really used. It's very rare for you to not be able to use integers in FTC. Like, the chances of you having to use long are slim to none. So floating point values or decimals. So we have 2 types. We have the float data type, which is pretty general. It doesn't have great precision. It's only 32 bits, which is kind of small for decimal values because they're kind of inefficiently stored in computers. And then we have double, which is double the storage as float, which means 64 bits, and it's better for high precision situations. So really, if you really want to have an extremely precise decimal, what you really should do is just store decimal values either in a string or in a very long integer, because there are certain things called round off errors that can occur commonly to not knowing programmers, and it can create headaches for programmers because they don't know what's going on. Like 0.1 plus 0.1 repeated 10 times should be 1, but sometimes it isn't because of that. So just keep that in mind when you're using decimals. Generally in robotics, you can just stick to double. Like, you'll be fine with double. So characters or char or care, depending on how you want to think about it. So chairs, not chairs, cares use ASCII values, which is pretty much just a table of numbers that correspond to characters. This includes numbers, letters, special characters, and even formatting systems. So they can also be added and subtracted because they really just are number values that are coded into letter values. So you can, by adding two chars, you would get a shifted value based on the two values and according to the ASCII table. And you can see that characters use single parentheses, and there can really only be one character per variable, really. And there's also this special little case where if you have a backslash, you have to put 2 because there's like a circuit breaker. Probably not going to use that. Quite honestly, you don't really use characters too often in robotics too much, but definitely an important programming tool. Boolean values generally only require a true or false value, 1 bit of storage, and they're useful for flags to store if a certain event occurred or not in iteration, also known as looping. It is written as Boolean, and in other languages such as C++ is shortened to bool. What you need to know about Boolean is that this will be a very helpful tool throughout FTC for iteration and loops, right? So it's important that you know what's going on, when it's going on, and we'll get into examples later on in the series about when this is very useful. But let's look into how we actually use variables. So the first step is declaration. What declaration means is you're defining the name and data type of a variable. Now, to be clear, you don't have to assign a variable a value, right, when you declare it, but it's pretty common that you do, okay? But obviously, you have the option to keep it empty until later use, right? So let's see how we declare a variable. So we have this command right here. Really should have a semicolon. How do we look at it? But that's not the point. The point is that we have this int here. We have to tell the program what kind of variable type we're using. Next, we have the name. The name is important for telling the program when we want to use that variable. Without, if variables don't have names, we don't know which one we're talking about, right? So we got to give every single variable a name. Next, we have the value. So usually we just use equal signs to determine that this x equals that, right? So also long, L, doubles, floats, you can have D or F for your values, but that's optional for the D and F. And as I mentioned before, you don't have to give an integer, or not an integer, any variable a value initially. And in this situation, you would just give it the type of variable and the name and just semicolon, and that's it, right? No equal sign, no value. Step 2, we have to modify the values. The variables aren't really important if you can't modify the values. So that's important that you know how to do that. So let's look into this. So as you can see, there are different kinds of values that are appropriate for given variable types. So we can see new var equals 5545. That is an example of an integer value, right? Because you don't have a decimal point, right? It's just a number. Next, you have this. You have the Boolean that's named flag, and it's equal to true. Okay, Booleans can only be true or false written out completely. There is no other thing that can't be 0. They can't be 1. It's just true, false. Next, we have this variable named float num, which means that it's float, right? Because we named it that way, or let's hope that it is. And we have 6.25 plus 1.5. So what the purpose of this example is showing that you can have math expressions on the right. Actually, it's very common to have math expressions on the right, but you can't have math expressions on the left, right? Because it's not an algebraic type thing. It's just you have the variable and you want it set to equal to something, right? There's no float num minus 1.5 equals 6.25. No. That's not how this is going to work, right? In that case, you just move the 1.5 and you get the same exact expression, right? So let's look at step 3, which is casting. So this is something that you will do relatively commonly in programming, and especially in FTC. This is pretty important when you're doing complex math calculations for Roadrunner or whatever complex programming software you may come across. So let's look at how we can modify the value of a variable. So first we have this double variable that's named d, and it's equal to around 8 million, it looks like 777,765.58. Okay, next we have an integer value named n, and we're going to turn the double value into an integer by applying the parentheses and the int. And then we're going to just put a semicolon there because that's how we end statements. And then we're going to print it out with our print command that we learned in the previous video. And the output will be 8,777,765. But where did the 0.58 go? Why isn't it 66 at the end and not 65? Well, in programming, instead of decimal values just being rounded as they usually are in math, they actually are gotten rid of completely. So this can be useful for a variety of reasons. It can also be not useful. And in the case of where it's not useful, you can circumvent it by creating if statements that check if whether it's greater than 4 or not. And we'll go into if statements later in a future video. But the point is that they have this interesting little functionality like I just described. And that's important to know because if you are unaware of it, it could cause problems for you down the line. So it's important. Decimal values are always rounded down. Always rounded down. I don't care if it's 0.9999. No, it's always rounded down. And it looks like that is it for this video. Hopefully, you will watch more of our videos from Techno Tigers A617 YouTube channel. So signing off, this is Hudson. Whoop-de-doo.